Hello there, it's Kim again with Wild Rose and Pearl. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based out of the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm coming today to show you Paper Pumpkin Mountain Majesties for May 2025. Okay, so with Paper Pumpkin, we always get a stamping block on our first order, and it's a thinner block, but it is the same size as our D block. Our D block, you can see, is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to swap this out today, but this kit comes with everything you need, including this block on your first order or on your first subscription. So yeah, this is the only thing I'm going to swap out today. The only other thing I would probably add is a pair of scissors and maybe a bone folder to burnish your edges really good. But other than that, there's not much needed. All the adhesives and everything comes in the box. I'm sorry about that ring. I always get the ring every time I record. Gotta have some lighting, so there is a bit of a reflection. Okay, so we will open up the box, and then you can see we have our stamping spot, which is Misty Moonlight for this month's stamping spot color. Now with these, you can collect these and you'll get quite a selection of colors from Stamping Up. By doing Paper Pumpkin, they always come with one of these. Also great for travel. I don't like to bring my big, huge size ones to any crops or anything, so I always bring this little stamping spots, and I have several colors. Okay, so I'm putting that aside. And then we've got our stamp for today. It's a little difficult to see like this, but now they print an insert. So I will pull that insert out and we will have a look at those. Put that aside. Always have a nice matching stuffing paper in the box. So we shall see what our kit is about today. What do we have here? Ooh, very nice. Very nice. There's, I mean, you can see quite the reflection on there. You know what? I'm going to take that off. It's just is bubbling up and it's making the reflection a little bit harsh with the lighting. So I will just take that off. And now you can see we've got cards here with matching envelopes. Looks like we've got 3 cards each of 3 different designs, so 9 cards total. It's not a packaging one or anything like that. It's kind of just, I think it's kind of our standard now is we get 3 cards, 3 designs each, unless they're doing a specialty kit. Okay, so I'm going to pull out this is our insert. So we've got You Mean the World to Me. This is a really fun script. I want to say it's like a very loose script. It's kind of like how I would handwrite versus when a font is perfect. All the letters, this is very like loose. Yeah, so You Mean the World to Me. We've got a lot of birds, ton of birds. Looks like we've got some little birds separated and then a big bunch of birds. Happy birthday. I love you. Best at ever. You're the greatest. Happy Father's Day. So this was made in time for Happy Father's Day. Unfortunately, I'm behind. To a Wonderful Man. Yeah. So we'll put that aside too. We'll pull out our instructions here. So on the back, we also have this Keep the Crafting Going. You can get this kit add-on, and it'll cover 3 months worth of kits as an add-on. So I'm guessing probably this is focusing on this month's kit. Seems about right. Have a cool label. So it contains supplies for 9 cards and 9 envelopes. We've got our coordinating colors. Basic Black is in there. Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, and Petal Pink. Wow, Petal Pink. There must be just a very small amount of it somewhere in the sky there. If you scan this video, you can also get a video to follow along with assembling the kit, but we like to do it our way. And then we can, do any of the hiccups because we get to talk through it. Okay, so normally what I do is I grab this first page here. When you open this up, you grab your first page here, and it shows you all the kit things that you need. So you can collect stuff for card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So I will go through all the stuff we have received. So we've got some tear and tape. I'm probably going to swap that out. Like if I don't need to use the tear and tape, I'll just swap that out and use my Stampin' Seal. But yeah, tear and tape is part of the kit, so go for it. We've got some dimensionals here. That's a big sheet of dimensionals. That will give you a lot extra. We've got the matching envelopes, and tucked in there we've got some pieces of the kit. So here's the matching envelopes. We got 3 colors. We've got Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and I'm guessing this is Lost Lagoon, or what's our other color here? Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pecan. Yeah, I'm going to guess Lost Lagoon. That's probably the right color there. And let's see if we've got, nope, they're not lined. So sometimes the inside will have a design as well. These ones are not. So the outside is the design. It reminds me of a watercolor paper we had a while back, which was really pretty. When you put like just a strip of this, this, and this, you can make a really nice little card out of just this if you wanted to cut these up and make these into designer paper. But yeah, so we've got 3 different matching envelopes. I'll put those way aside because we don't really need those to make the cards. We've got 3 vellums here. I'm gonna go like this, and we're gonna pull out everything we need. Usually I just need 1 of each here, so we'll pull 1 of those, 1 of those, 1 of those. Put these aside. Another vellum. Put those ones aside. Card base. 1 piece. Card base. And 1 of these. Okay, we'll put those pieces aside. We'll pull these over, and now we'll separate them. Okay, so we've got 1 card base that looks like this. So we'll put that up here. We have got, what else do we have here? Ooh, I want to call this, okay, so this is this. So we'll pull this one out, the vellum sheet. So we've got that. We've got, interesting. Looks like maybe one of these. Oh, there we go. Yep. There's the other vellum one. So we've got another vellum one of these. I can't tell if they're vellum or if they're the paper designs. There's a few options here. We've got the green sliver here. And then we've got this blue. I believe this is this blue here, which is more Lost Lagoon, but on here it kind of looks more like darker version of Seafoam. Okay, so that's that first card. We've also got a square sentiment out of here, and they've given you 2 extras. 2 extras just in case you have a little hiccup or a boo-boo. So 1 of those. Our dimensions, we're going to need our stamps, but we'll pull those out after. Okay, then card number 2. We have this beauty. Oh, definitely cut that in half. You do not need to waste that lovely scenery. Cut that in half, add it to a regular card base, and you've got yourself double the cards. Not that we're putting those out to the side. And we're going to need our sky piece here. Looks like we need this here. I have a feeling this is just going to be a lot of like really good layering. Like that's a perfect match. Why would you waste that? Okay. They want it to be that way. They can have it that way. Okay, and then we've got this piece here. So you just tug them. They're just connected by these little dots, which can kind of show up, but like that's how the laser cuts it. So it's a little holder for the paper. And then I just trim those off if I see them, if they're really noticeable to me. There's another piece. We've got a vellum piece. It looks like it's kind of hard with this one. It's tucked in. They're showing it on the picture as kind of tucked in, but I know it's supposed to be part of it. Okay. And then this piece here. And we've got one of these squares here. And again, they've given us extras, so that's great. 2 extras, so just in case we mess up. Okay. And then this is the stamping block. Okay. Third, we've got this lovely sun here. We've got a sand piece. That's where that little bit of petal pink comes in. So this is more like a desert. So I see how that's coming in now. Then we've got this piece of vellum. And we've got this piece of black and blue. And that's it. There's no sentiment holder. Okay, awesome. So then once we're done that, we would open this up and you get card 1, 2, and 3. So we will start off with card number 1. So we'll fold this back, which actually, card number 1, there we go. Okay. I'm just going to push this on the top of the screen here so you can still see it. We're going to open up our Misty Moonlight spot. So I just take a pair of scissors, open them up, and then I run them away from the body. I run that along the seam of where the lid and the base, so the clear and the white, join. I just run that along there, and then that should open up really nice. Here we go. And then with our stamp pad, because this can be quite difficult and a little bit in your way here, this little piece. I mean, you could open both sides. I just like to keep one side sealed so that it closes really nice. So I just take my stamp pad here and I stamp it onto my stamp. Okay. So first of all, we're doing Happy Father's Day on our little sentiment piece here. And if you can see here, I can show you. These little white tag bits, I don't know if you can see it in the camera very much, but like these little pieces that hold, they show up like these little tab things. So I like to just trim those off. It takes a couple of seconds, but then I don't notice them. It doesn't look like factory pieces. It looks like I cut them then. That doesn't look like they're factory cut. So yeah, maybe I'm faking everybody out, but I think it looks just a little more cleaner. Okay, so then we're going to grab our Happy Father's Day, which is here at the bottom. And again, you can, if this doesn't suit your needs, all these other sentiments, like you're the greatest will fit on there, best dad ever, and I love you will fit on that sentiment piece. You don't have to use Happy Father's Day. They give you extra stamps. We're only going to be using the birds, Happy Father's Day, and You Mean the World to Me today. So, I mean, as you can see, there's several more different stamps you can use. If you want to do Happy Birthday, do Happy Birthday instead. So they don't just give you enough stamps for the kit. They give you extras so you can make your cards your own. Whatever you need them for. So I should probably say what I'm doing here. So I will lay the stamp here because these are photopolymer. They can bend or they can alter if they're on your block. So if you go, let's say you go like this and you put your finger up a little bit, that actual stamp can curve. So by placing it here, I'm allowing it to be in its natural state, which is generally a lot more straight than if you try and put it on yourself. I pick it up, then I go like this just to give it a bit. It's kind of rubbing off. There's a factory, I'm just rubbing off the factory film that's on there, and then I just wash it on a stamping scrub. Then I take it back off, place it here, get any water off my stamp block, and then I just pick it up again, and now I know it's going to stamp, and the ink will not pool on the stamp as much. It'll stick to the stamp now because that factory film kind of makes it, it's a little bit resistant to ink. So that's why we do that. You can also use a Versamark ink pad and just stamp it a couple times in Versamark, and then that will create the same, it'll get rid of that seal from the factory. Okay, so I've inked up my stamp like I had said earlier. I would just take my ink pad and I would stamp it onto the letters or onto the stamp pad, just because it's a little easier to do with the lid still on. Okay, then we're going to stamp it directly in the center of our stamp, of our little white piece here. There we go. Happy Father's Day. Nice crisp stamp. Nothing wrong with that. And then I'm going to take that one off, put it over to be cleaned. Next up, we've got some big birds, or a massive amount of birds. And we're also going to need this set of 3 birds. So I'm just going to pull that off now. Why not? Just put it aside there. So we've got our big bunch of birds. Just going to get that factory. Then a quick little scrub. And we are ready to go. So this is going to be stamped directly on the card. We will pull that in. And we're placing this stamp kind of in here to here. So once I get my little birdie stamped up. Oh, this reminds me of like a sunset on this. There's a campground on the way. It's just outside of Osoyoos, and you're heading over to Rock Creek from Osoyoos, and there's this beautiful valley in the back. And when you see it, it's just rolling hills. And if you come over at this time, like this time of day, you can see into the United States, and you can see all the mountains. It's actually really beautiful. And yeah, it just reminds me of that and having a nice cup of coffee in your camping chair. Okay, so we will place our birds. We're going kind of from here and across, maybe about 1/4 of an inch up from this green, and then 1/4 of an inch in. So just like this, placing our birds there. I'm gonna wash that off a little bit so I don't get ink all over my fingers. Leave that over there to be cleaned. We're gonna need that a few more times, it looks like. So then we'll just do our little birds now. Same thing. Grab our Misty Moonlight. And these birdies, got to make sure I got them in the right direction. So like the birds flying in the sky, it's a V. So we want it to be like a V. So I don't want it to be like a M. We definitely need it to be more of a V. And then we're going to come in pretty close. So almost 1/8 of an inch up and about 1/2 of an inch over, I'm going to say, from the left hand fold line here. I haven't folded my card yet. I kind of like that I haven't done that, because it's allowing me to, so kind of just over that arch in the sky there. Remember, if you don't do it exactly like the copy, nobody's seen the original, so they're just going to love what you give them. They're never going to know what the original looked like, and they will just love that you gave them a card. So now here I'm going to fold this. I'm going to burnish the edge with my bone folder. If you don't have one of those, you can take your your acrylic block and just fold it like, and use that as kind of a bone folder. Okay, we've got a nice burnished edge now. Now we're going to put dimensions on the back of our Happy Father's Day. I've got them here. Dimensions on the back of the Happy Father's Day. Dimensions on the back of the green piece. Dimensions only on the bottom of this vellum piece. So we're putting it in this direction, this direction. Now this needs a little bit of trims. I've got a lot of these white little nibs showing through, showing off the edges here. I just want to get rid of those. So it just has that finished look. Okay, so this is going to be this way. We've got our sentiment this way. I'm going to grab our stamping dimensionals. Now here's another tool that it doesn't come with, but it's a great tool to have. It's called the Take Your Pick tool, and you just place your dimensionals on there. Kind of makes it easier to grab them. And we can place these on here. So we're getting really good dimension on our project. And then with the vellum, just so that you know, we're going to put it only on the bottom half of this vellum. Vellum is see-through. So anytime you put a dimensional on, let me just show you. You can see the dimensionals through it, right? You can see my finger through it. Vellum is a wonderful tool, but it is see-through. It will show glue dots and dimensionals. So you always have to make sure you hide it underneath a solid piece or underneath something that's going to cover it up. If you ever choose to use embossing powder on vellum, that also will hide it. So the embossing powder creates a solid layer over the vellum. And so when you go to put adhesive behind that embossing layer or the embossing powdered layer, it hides it. It hides that adhesive of choice. Okay, so now they're calling for tear and tape on this piece and this piece. So if you have, I think I'll use the tear and tape today just because we're doing the video, but if you had your Stampin' Seal, it is a touch bit thicker than the tear and tape. So here's the width of the tear and tape, and here's the width of the Stampin' Seal. You can see there's a slight bit difference there in the width. But this is just really great to just have. It's just as secure as this. If this might be a touch more secure, but this is just a card. We're not making a box here. So you could supplement it, sub it out, and save this for some boxes if you wanted to. Which again, I'm just going to trim those little bits off. It's kind of funny with the vellum. I didn't think I would see the little bits here, but they're a wee tad bit noticeable. Okay, so again, this one's going to be in this direction. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 of these good to go. We're going to grab this one and this one. Couple wee bits on there. There is another person that sees those little bits too. I'm not the only one out there. Okay, so we've got the scoop going up this way and then this one coming down this way. We're going to take our tear and tape. It's calling for it to be about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. So with tear and tape, you just lay it down, press it down with your finger, and then pull up, and it will just tear right off. That's why it's called tear and tape, because you can tear it. And then this one, it's calling for it to be right on the bottom. Again, that vellum will show through, so you want to make sure you keep this adhesive underneath a solid piece. Okay, so now we've got a lot of layering to do here. We're going to push our pieces aside. We're going to start off with layer number A, which is our big piece here. Layer number A is going to go here on the left hand, coming up the left hand side. It matches this line here. These layers are all going to match these lines that are already on your card base. So it should be fairly easy to layer them. So you can pull off your backings, or if you have a take your pick tool, you can poke the backs and pull up. Such a great tool to use. Okay, so we've got this one lining up quite nicely with that design line on the paper there. Then we have B, which is going to be this solid piece. And as you can see now, look at that. So we've got all our dimensionals in there. We've got some nice dimension here, going to create some good shadow. And then this piece here is going to cover up all those dimensions, see? Because we placed them properly. We placed them according to the plan. Okay. Next up, pull off that tear and tape backing. You can use a toothpick if you don't have a take your pick tool. Sometimes if you've got great nails, which I do not, you have great nails, you just pull it up with your nails. So we're lining that one up. Now this one I've got a little bit further down, but that's okay. I kind of like the ragged edge on that versus the nice straight edge on this. So we've got B. Now we do number C, or letter C. Number C. Silly lady. Okay. We've got C, which is just going to layer straight up there. And it is just adhering to that layer we just placed down. This is looking good. Got some cool dimension to that. Now, the tear and tape isn't showing through the vellum very much, but you still could see it if you were looking closely. So it's great that we're actually going to cover it up again with letter D. Why do I keep saying number D? Letter D. Okay. That one's going to go right down in the corner on the left-hand side here. And that's covering the vellum. So with your Stampin' Seal, that might have shown a bit more than the tear and tape. The tear and tape isn't showing at all. Okay. Then we're going to place our Happy Father's Day right here across on the side, just coming over those layers. That is a very simple design. But it looks darn nice. So about 1/4 of an inch in from the right hand side. And then I just made it straight with the bottom there. So that is a very simply designed card. We've got a little bit of that petal pink, which is kind of like an orangey pink, but a very soft orangey pink. Now again, this feels wrong to me. I would cut this front and put it on a regular card base, and then I would stamp some other things on here and make this another card. Yeah, but this is our first card. All done. Not too bad. It's pretty fast. Love the layers. Love vellum. Vellum is just such a cool product. We don't sell it anymore, but you can get it and you can use it. I mean, if we don't have it, find it if you need it, because it is a lovely layering addition to cards. Okay, number 2. So we're going to be pulling in some of the stamps that we've already used. I am just going to fold this card base right away. And again, if you hadn't heard me before, take this piece off. Use it for another card front. Okay. So we've got that piece. And we're going to stamp some birds here, right in this area. So we're going to pull in our triple bird, making sure our V's are in the correct direction. Grab our Misty Moonlight Stampin' Spot here. These birds are going to be there's a line layer here. And we're going to place our birds, 2 birds above that line and 2 birds below that line, and about an inch in from the right hand side. Just like that. There's our birds. Take that one off again. Put our stamping block to the side there for later use. Okay, and then we've got a whole bunch of dimensionals to do. So we're going to dimension the back of our trees here. Again, I'm just going to trim off those little bits. Makes it look like I stamped this and die cut it myself. I haven't. Stampin' Up! Has done all that for me. But I'm going to get rid of these little pieces here. And then it looks like I did it. Okay. We've got our tree. Face that backing up. This is our vellum. We're going to place the point on the right here. I'm just going to move this one off to the side because we've got quite a bit of stuff to do here. This one, this one, this one. Then we've got our scene here. And we are going to put some tear and tape on the back of this one. So that one is going to be back facing. Then we've got our white piece, which we're doing nothing to this piece. We're not stamping it, which normally when they give you a piece like this, there's always some kind of stamp going on it, but not today. So we're going to put this one in portrait. We're going to add dimensions to that. And then this one here is our sentiment, but it's a printed sentiment, which is not, again, which is not usual. And I almost want to cut this off because, oh no, here we go. Push down that white piece, and now it looks really good. Okay, so this one here is getting placed like this, but we're only putting dimensionals on the left-hand side. So we're going to grab our dimensionals, and only on the left-hand side are we placing 2 dimensionals on the left-hand side. This portrait rectangle, we are going to place 2 dimensionals. They are calling for it to be right down the center, one at the top, one at the bottom. Okay, our trees, we are placing, doesn't look like we're placing anything on the very tip of the tree. So we're going about 1/3 of the way down. And then we've got 2 and 3. This might be a bit of dimension overkill, but that's okay. We've got 1 in that second tree and 1 at the bottom. And then we've got 1 on the smallest tree on the left-hand side. Then we've got 3 going across. We're going to go about 1/3 of the way down, and then 3 along the bottom as well. So let's do the 3 along the bottom, and then 3, kind of 1/3 of the way down, 2, 3. I'm maybe even a little low on that. Then we're going to take our Stampin' Tear and Tape, and we're going to place 1 along the back here at the bottom, along the back here, and then we're going to place 1 just directly below the cut edge, at the lowest point of that cut edge. And we're just going to pull that with our tearing motion. You can cut it with scissors too, if that makes you feel better. Okay, so now we're going to pull this card base back in. I'm going to push these pieces aside, and we're going to pull this back in. So first thing we're doing is A, which is our vellum piece. So pull the backings off of your vellum piece. 2, 3, 4. I didn't poke those good enough. And pull. There we go. There's our vellum piece. And this piece is lining up with the edge of this mountain here. So we line up along the left-hand side and the bottom. And when we go to place it down, it should lay really nice. You can see that those dimensionals are noticeable. Don't worry, we're going to cover it up. So then we're going to do now B, layer number B, pull off our tear and tape backing. And we're going to layer that one directly on top. Right there. Now you can see those dimensionals all covered. Can't see them. But this is just it catches light. Vellum catches light. Just adds a bit of texture to it. Again, wonderful, wonderful tool, vellum. Okay, and then C is our set of trees here. So we're going to place those on. And all these layers are going to create great shadowing. They might make your envelope or your card a bit thicker for mail purposes, but it's worth it. It's worth it to send it to someone. And again, I trimmed all those things off, so now it looks really crisp and clean. Look at that. We could have actually put a dimension under the tip of the tree just to keep it a little more solid, but it'll squish down. Okay. Then we're going to grab our square here. Sorry, our rectangle. And we're going to place the rectangle kind of going over. It's lining up with this green line here and about 1/2 inch from the left. And we're just placing that on top. I was surprised that had dimension on it. This is going to be quite a dimension card. Quite thick for the mail. You might want to hand deliver this one. So again, 1/2 inch from the side, or 3/8 of an inch. Then you're lining it up with that blue, the more Lost Lagoon mountain there. And then this here, we put the dimensions on the right hand side, which I believe I'm going to say it should be in the opposite so that you don't get any extra layering, because this will make it again like 3 times as thick. So I'm actually going to take these off. This is me making an executive decision. I'm going to take these off and I'm going to place them just along the edge. I'm going to cut one of these dimensions in half so that I can make the card just a touch bit thinner. So you can see I'm just rolling it off with my fingers here. Comes right off, super easy. But I want to see this sitting like this, but without that bulkiness. I don't think it needs to be any more bulky. So I'm going to make an executive decision and do that. So all I'm going to need is 1/2 dimensional, and we're going to line them up. So I'm going to grab one of these, cut it in half, or you can use, better yet, I'm not going to take that and cut it in half because these ones on the edge here are already 1/2 a dimension. So I'm just going to cut along my edge here. And I'm going to grab these ones. So let's place that again. So I just need this one right along the edge. And then another 1/2 dimension right along that edge. And I'm going to get a little less bulk in my card. Probably will not send this one in the mail. Just it's quite a thick layering to it. Okay, so then I'm just going to butt that right up against, because my dimensions are only 1/2, so that butt that right up against, and there's my second card. Man, that's a nice looking card. Love all that layering, all that popping up. Just adds a little more pizzazz to it. Makes it not like, the ones you get at the dollar store that are just one folded dimension. We stepping it up here. Stepping it up at Stampin' Up. Okay. Card number 2 and card number 3. Now that one's done. We'll pull this third one over. And this one's got some lovely script to it. So we've got "You mean the world to me." What a nice sentiment. You mean the world to me. I mean, geez, this could even be a Valentine's Day card. Could be a Valentine's Day card. Who's to say it can't be, right? Make it what you want it to be. Valentine's doesn't have to be red. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty easy one there. We're just gonna stamp that right onto the card. So we've done our cleaning. I especially try to do this step, like this cleaning step, if I'm stamping directly on the card base. That to me is a little bit more risky. So I want to make sure. Sometimes I'll even do a test stamp on the side on my paper just to make sure that it's good. I know that I've cleaned it well though, so I know it will be a good stamp. But if you're ever worried, the more you stamp on a stamp, the better that image gets. So if I stamp it off and then I add more ink, it's going to attach to that first layer of ink again, and it's just going to be even better. So if you're ever worried, stamp it off once, re-ink it, and do it again. You can use those ink pads and get lots and lots of ink out of them. So we're going to line the ends of the letters up with the right hand side of our moon here. And because it's script, it doesn't have to be perfectly. You want it somewhat straight, but it's script. It's always going to look a little bit different. So you mean the world to me. We've got that layer on there. Next up, we're going to have to put all of our dimensions on these. So we've got this one turned like this one turned like this, and this one turned like this. Okay. Take off my little bits here. It's usually only a couple. Sometimes they'll fold over and they'll make the edge white as well. When they pull off, they'll pull off the like inward, and then they make it look like you don't have a nice solid line. So I always like to make sure I do this. We're looking good today though. There's only that one earlier that had a little fold line off of it. And there we go. Dimensionals. We've got lots on this one. All three pieces get dimensioned on this one. No tear and tape on this one. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 along the bottom. And then the vellum, always follow the directions on that one because, again, you can see through it. So you want to make sure you don't go where you're not supposed to go. We've got 5 on there for safe measure. And we've got 6 on here. And these ones are kind of all, they are not in a straight line. Don't know why. Somebody just put them on the picture that way. So we've got 1 in the center here, 1 down a little bit more here, 1 way up in the corner. Okay. Perfect. Put those aside. Pull in our card. I am going to fold it now because I want to make sure. Get that strength there. First up is our desert layer. So we will tear off the backs here. As you can see, like that just made it so easy. For someone who doesn't have good nails, that is a really cool tool. See, it seems so sad because we're covering all these layers and we're just making it blank and boring. So you could create your own backdrop and use these layers yourself on other designs. I mean, stamp your own backdrop. Use blending brushes if you have them. Blend out a lovely backdrop and then You can, use these layers to pop it up and then use this lovely already done card base with lovely, lovely lines and then do some different kind of layering on them. Paper pumpkin kits are a very nice way, if you're just starting out, to just get some beautiful cards that don't require a lot of hard work. But man, if you look online, you can see people create amazing things with these kits. They just use the components in a different way. And you can go on there and case those as well. Case, create, and share everything is what we call it. And just change it by, 10%. And then it's kind of you get to put your own spin on it. But the internet is wonderful for other designs. So there we go. And as you can see, the layers are just, it creates all this really cool dimension. I would probably turn this into I would use a fun fold and turn this into an easel card, because you get all that cool layers, all those cool layers. But yeah, this one is such a simple card, but it looks so good. All that shadowing is such a cool thing. You can see it right here. You can see the shadows coming in from the light. It just creates all this cool dimension to it and just makes those cards just a step up from what you can get out there. And you made it. I mean, who doesn't want a card that's made by someone that cares about them? Someone that thinks they mean the world to them. Okay, so this is our 3 cards for today. Those are nice, classy. I love it when I can have a card that's a little bit more masculine. I find a lot of people find it hard to get masculine cards that they're really proud of. It's just a little harder to create for men. We've got lots of flowers and lots of pretty things out there, but it's really nice when we can have something really simple that can go for either men or women. So it's very, very, very lovely to have that option. All right, and then remember, with these ones, there are these lovely matching envelopes. So this is the envelope for this one here. We've got this lovely envelope here. We've got a nice pink one for this one here. Actually, they've got it put with this one. I don't think this would look bad with this one either, though. You could go that way, right? So yeah, they've got these lovely matching envelopes, and then you just send in the mail, and it looks different from all the other junk mail out there, so somebody knows they're going to get something special. Anyways, I hope this inspired you. I hope you will think about the fact that these can go with you to wherever you need to go. I've done these kits in the hospital before, done these kits in hotels before, done these kits camping before. So yeah, they can go with you, and then you have all these beautiful things to hand out to people anytime you see them. Hope this inspires you. Hope you have a great day, and thank you so much for watching again. Talk to you later. Bye.